team.
Well, we will see if things are a little bit cleaner here as we go into game number 3 between Najin mFire and Generic Green Wings. And Kog'Maw, wow, Kog'Maw banned out against Pilot.
I really liked Generic's draft and their reaction to what Najin threw at them in game 1.
Yeah.
So, and now the Kog'Maw can be banned. Remember, Nidalee, Annie, and Rek'Sai were the bans last time Najin was on blue side.
Right. And Annie Gragas banned out again.
Yeah, same ban so far for Generic that we saw in the first set. But now, for the first time, we're going to see fewer jungler bans this series. Because remember that Najin has banned 2 junglers every game so far.
Yeah, well, still banning that Rek'Sai. Not wanting Chaser to get his hands on it. The Gragas is banned as well. So what will Generic pick for their 3rd ban here? A lot to choose from, actually.
Alistar.
Alistar it is.
And they're going to hope, I think, that Najin doesn't take Victor first.
And they will? They will, yeah. So I mean, Gung has played a good amount of Victor this season.
GBM also has a very large champion pool. Yeah. And the surprise here is that we haven't seen any of that Runeglaive Ezreal yet. No one's tried to play it. Of course, it is punishing right now in Korea. If you do have a low wave clear mid laner, teams are very good at abusing that. So taking away the Evelynn should be a very high priority for Generic this game. Might be Chaser's first game on Eve so far this series. But
you know, the Nidalee is available too. It's been banned out both other games against him.
No. You want to take the Evelynn and see what Watch does, because you're putting Watch in a really difficult situation right now.
That is true. He'll probably just go with Lee Sin, but that's not a bad thing if you're Generic.
Right, definitely. I think you 100% take the Evelynn and just put Watch in a very uncomfortable situation. Yes, and I agree. Okay. I don't know about this. Yes, the Sivir is strong, but Pilot didn't have a very inspiring game on Sivir in game 1. Okay, Evelynn Sivir is fine.
Okay. Yeah, Eve Sivir taken by Generic. And, well, Echo's been nerfed pretty hard, so I don't think we're going to see that one.
No. Najin should take the Maokai here. That would make the most sense, and maybe Generic has to go back to a mid-game composition with Rumble and Sivir at that stage, but...
Yep, thought so.
Yep, Lee Sin.
Lee Sin, they will grab the Maokai, yeah. All right. Well, probably not going to take the Orianna here, but maybe the Ezreal. Yeah, we've been talking about this the entire time with the Runeglaive.
GBM is the exact player you want on a mid lane as 2. Great with long-range skill shots. He's played mid lane Ezreal in the past, AD.
Yeah.
This is definitely the style of pick that would work very well for GBM, as long as he doesn't get pushed in early, because of course that's the danger, is that it takes a while for the APS to ramp up, and you have to take Smite, basically. But that would be interesting. GBM hasn't played Zed in a very long time, but he used to be a very good Zed player.
Yeah.
And it's good against the Victor.
I could go for the Orianna as well. What do you think about the Ahri?
Also good.
Bad. Oh, Orianna. So a classic locked in for GBM.
He hasn't played Ori in a really long time, though. Remember, for those of you who don't know, Gang by Mom, when he came into the scene on CJ Frost, was an extremely good Ori player, but he was Ori and Zed pretty much only.
And pretty much Ori out of Ori and Zed. He was mostly just known as the guy who was really good on Orianna, but couldn't really play much of anything else. And he's since become a much more developed mid laner, but going back to the Orianna for this game, and I guess if you pair it with Rumble's Equalizer, it's arguably good. Again, you know, I mean, if Chaser has a good flank with Eve as well, too, it could work.
We've been seeing a little bit more Ori here in Korea generally, but still a bit of a rare pick. And OQ thinking about going for the Corki this game. No support up yet for Generic. I wonder if they have some tricks in store. Yeah, Najin should probably just take the Nautilus right now, because Generic probably would last pick that champion.
Oh, definitely. Che's been pretty much Nautilus Annie the entire season. Will go for the Thresh this time around, and he was a great Thresh player before. Maybe, I don't know, do you think you take the Janny here? I feel like the Thresh is a bit better.
Braum against Corki does have a strong laning phase, but I think the Thresh is the best. It sets up the pick potential. and gives you more tools to engage with safely without having to like run in with your flash in with your ult or something like that. And also does have that nice laning phase against Corki because you can just block the Phosphorus Bomb and trade, or I mean the Thresh. Never mind, I was thinking about the Braum, but yeah, the Thresh is going to be fine too in this circumstance. I think we may see a lane swap this game. It's weird that we've had standard lanes in all of the matches so far.
Well, it's dangerous to do against OQ and Pure as well, which is what we've seen them get pushed in a lot. We haven't seen OQ and Pure really get a lot of kills in the bottom lane though.
No, but they did take over game one in a huge way with that CS advantage.
That is true.
Corki not going to be the stronger laner in terms of Sivir versus Corki though, so he's going to have less of a chance to really push for a lead. And otherwise, Jin looks like they have a pretty standard composition. They are going to be reliant on Chaser to engage, but Chaser is really good at getting Evelynn flanks, so that's not too much of a concern.
Some pretty huge wombo combos on the Jin side if they're able to get the right positioning with it. And, you know, where they've struggled a lot today, too, has been in the Dragon department, and this team really addresses a lot of those problems.
Yeah, as long as they can group up Pop properly, as long as GBM's with the team, which he wasn't in some of the early Dragon fights last game.
Very true. Well, here we go. Third game. Who's going to take it? Najin versus Jin. Let's find out. Here we go. Game number 3. Najin mFire versus Jin Green Wings. Crowd really getting into it now. It's been a while since we've had a series that has been this close, I feel.
Yeah, and 3 games. It's been a lot of 2-0s recently. So.
Yeah. Yes, it has. Well, we'll get one in our second match of the night. Don't worry.
Well, that didn't happen the last time SKT played Anarchy. So
that is true. That is true.
And, Anarchy actually has dealt Faker his only game loss this season, interestingly enough.
How dare they?
And Faker's playing Orianna in that game. Speaking of Orianna.
Yep. Now, GBM originally learned Orianna because he was impressed by the way Faker played it, and he wanted to play that champion the same way, and he nearly got there. Pretty much got there.
I'm a bit surprised that the Orianna came out here instead of something like the Zed or like the Ahri, both of which GBM can play just fine, and we've seen success even after the Deathmark nerfs with Zed players playing into Victor and getting kills.
I just feel like it's a comfort thing for Jin. You know, they're like, all right, if we're going to go to another really late game, we want GBM on something that he's absolutely comfortable with, something that he can make plays with late game. And
yeah, the weird thing is GBM hasn't played this champion in a really long time, where he's played Ahri much more recently, so...
Not competitively, but we don't know what's going on in scrims, and I haven't looked at his solo queue account recently. So maybe. Looks like it'll be Krug start for OQ and Watch. And Watch will just go ahead and take the big one, and OQ will go to lane.
Yeah, Pilot and Che getting some experience though, actually. Taking the little golems just to get a slight lead in the laning phase. They've been very concerned with the fact that OQ is so good in the lane, so they're actually going to level up 1 creep earlier. Now we'll see if Najin understands this. They should.
Probably. Now we'll see what kind of plays Chaser can make on this Evelynn. He's been very deadly with it in the past, and he looks like he wants to try something on Goong early here.
Yeah, level 2 gank.
Maybe, yeah, it looks like he's going to give it up, but that's the type of thing that if you pull it off, you're hoping for a summoner spell maybe used. Not really going to get any kills, but if you can get the flash, that's great.
So Jin has established a little bit of lane dominance as a result of that faster level 2 in this game. So at least they're trying to get more pressure over the bottom side, which is something that Jin has really been lacking in this series so far. Yeah.
Wow, Pilot. Looking much more bold this game, too.
Well, he's in a favorable matchup, so he has a little bit more leeway to play aggressively, that's for sure. Yep. And Watch here. Go ahead and clear out the camps. No attempts at early ganks from this Lee Sin. And we'll see if he can attain the same level of vision control that Najin has had in the previous 2 games, which has been pretty favorable for them.
Yeah. I'm really, really curious to see a little bit of action in the top lane, but I'm really curious to see what the Dragons are going to look like early on. Because it seems like Jin is finally saying, all right, we really want to...
They can't let that happen again. It's way too risky where they had to... I mean, they basically were between a rock and a hard place where they had to bust out some really fancy rotational play around the Dragon and the Baron late last game, and they executed it. But you don't want to be in a spot where that is a necessity.
Not really. Not too fun.
Also, it was just so weird that that second Dragon went unkilled for so long in that last game, even though both teams, I feel, had angles onto it at times, and they just weren't decisive with their advantages. It was kind of disappointing.
It's like a good 25 minutes without a Dragon, which is almost unheard of.
It wasn't that long.
Was it? It felt like it. 20 minutes?
No.
15?
No. Maybe like 8 or 10 minutes on that second Dragon where it was just sitting there alive.
Feels like an eternity without kills going on. It was.
It was an eternity. This is your purgatory, Doa. Jin versus Najin is your purgatory.
Oh.
Hour-long games with very few kills.
It's tough, man. I'm surprised I'm enjoying it as much as I have been. I'm afraid of what that might mean, Monty.
You're becoming a gentleman of taste.
I guess so. My grunge rock roots are at risk here.
Because grunge rock is equated with lots of kills?
It's equated with lots of taste. I don't know. I don't know where to go on this one.
Well, Trace is playing these lanes pretty smart. He hasn't given Watch really any reasonable attempts to go ahead and get a gank off in this top side. He's been playing much better than he did against CJ.
Yeah, they do look a bit tighter.
Even though he only plays 2 champions still.
Hey, but you got to play those champions well.
What happens if Maokai or Rumble gets nerfed? What happens to Jin?
That's a good question. We'll probably find that out by the end of the year, especially with Maokai, I would think.
Well, Rumble's getting buffed through that AP itemization change next patch.
Well, so he doesn't have to worry about that anyway. But Maokai, that's where the point of concern comes in. It's okay, Jax just got buffed, so he can just become a carry, play Jax.
It's very odd to see Trace, who had such a big champion pool last season and now is just playing the only same two champions every single game. And yeah, they are power picks for sure. Like, it's not wrong to pick them, but it's weird that Jin does seem to be limiting themselves or becoming so predictable in the draft in that way.
You got to wonder, too, if maybe they're just kind of hiding what they've got up their sleeves for as long as they can, too.
I don't know if they have much up their sleeves. I'm not convinced yet. I'm not convinced yet.
Well, Trace usually has his sleeves rolled up, too, so maybe you're right. Can't be. There's not much room to hide things there.
This is where he tricks you, though. You think he's got nothing, but he's got top Morgana up there.
He does like a lot of magic acts where he pulls out like Aurelia and stuff like that. Top Morgana, top Nautilus.
Maybe his top Rengar is still hiding up there from back in the day. What do you mean, oh no, he was great on Rengar. Just Rengar is terrible now.
Rengar these days? Yeah, that's what I was oh-knowing about.
But back in the day when it was his crazy pocket pick that had to be banned every game, it was hilarious.
Yeah, well then it was great. I mean, that's how he came into the league. Yep. It was as a crazy good top Rengar player. A pick Makanoon would have approved of.
Back when AP Rengar was broken.
Yep. And then when he was still really strong after AP Rengar was nerfed. Well, not a lot of action early on in this game, as you may have noticed.
Shocking. It really is just this series quite slow.
Don't worry, I think there's going to be plenty of action in our second series. Yes. That one should be pretty fast and furious. Oh. Yeah, why not? Or not. Don't go in. Not a lot of warding coming in from Jin, and it makes it tough for GBM to engage here. Oh, flash dredge line. They get the flash out of Shay as well, so support flash for support flash.
Nice attempt to make a play. They had
Why not?
Lee Sin in the river, so they could have definitely turned that into something good.
Yeah.
Watch and Goon. Just Whoa,
Shockwave comes in. Evelyn ult used as well, too. Can Chaser keep the damage up until GBM gets there? Doesn't look like it. They do chunk Goong and Watch out, though, and so that may give Jinair this first dragon.
Yeah, GBM did want to flash there, too, because Goong still had his summoner spells available.
Yeah, and his ult.
If he had, yes, and his ult. And if he had gotten hit by that ult, if he and Eve had grouped up right there in the river, that could have been very bad and a good turnaround. But they get some nice chunk damage down, and you know, if you're Najin, you can't be clearing wards like that.
It's a bit risky.
Well, they didn't know the ward was there, but you can't group like that because if GBM can see you, then you're going to get hit by a two-man Shockwave. So
apparently,
not the best play there from Najin.
Watch coming up to the top lane, but no opportunities with Trace playing safe. No dragons yet.
Trace has really been playing this lane well. The fact that he's only down like 10 CS right now, he's going to pick some more up off this wave while he has made it pretty much impossible for himself to get ganked has been very nice to see. And you know, if there's a Lee Sin Maokai lane, that's obviously where the jungler's going to be going because they don't have a lot of kill pressure anywhere else yet. Right. Corki's still ramping up. You don't want to go down and try and fight the Sivir or Thresh, especially if their jungler ends up being there. So it's pretty transparent where Watch has the highest kill pressure and where he's going to go. And Trace has just been playing suitably cautiously without losing hardly anything in terms of XP or in terms of his farm. It's a good lane play.
I feel like we're seeing Jinair try to be a bit more aggressive with the warding as well, too.
Well,
they got one behind.
Their warding has been pretty sad tonight overall. Now, Chaser knows that ward's there, but he's not going to kill it.
They had a few pretty good ones until a moment ago.
So doesn't kill the ward because he doesn't want them to know where he is until he clears the pink. Then doubles back to take the other one out. So smart play there, just leaving the ward up as long as he has to make sure he can get everything. Now, ward on the Gromp, trying to check out where Chaser is. And he could do some sort of lantern play here with the Sivir ultimate. This could be big, actually. GBM has kept Victor zoned out.
OQ is on his own down there, too. Doesn't look like they're going to catch him, though.
Oh, but they might.
Maybe. Yeah.
This is really dangerous for Najin.
Yep, Watch Pure in a little bit of trouble. Oh, but they caught Chaser in first blood going over to Pure. Wow, that was a really fast turnaround when they knew where he was, and immediately onto Dragon goes Najin.
Yeah, and right there, it was a good read. OQ was already in the river just waiting for that to happen, so Najin gets the pick. That was a dangerous play for Najin to make, especially since Sivir ult is on the other team, but Pilot and Che were not there to back him up. And Chaser obviously thought that there was a miscommunication there at 100%.
I think so, yeah. Kind of makes you wonder again, you know, how much that shot calling from Captain Jack is helping Jinair, because they still look a little bit off tonight.
Yeah, Pilot had to have better communication in that situation about where the wave was and if he was going to be able to get into the river to back it up. I also think that they had a chance to lantern gank with the Sivir ult earlier on when Chaser was in the Tribe Rush. So.
Well, they've looked so indecisive in the early parts of all three games already now.
Yeah.
And even though they came back and won last night, the last one was pretty impressive. Che gets a bit caught here, plays away. Watch comes in, he's going to drop the box. Can he get over the wall? No flash right now. Shield from GBM, nice three-man shockwave for GBM. And oh, the hook misses for Che. Thought maybe they would have an opportunity with that to turn around. Close call. Najin keeps walking into these shockwaves from GBM, and if they keep doing that, that's going to end up in a pretty good team fight for Jinair at some point in this game.
Eventually, yes. Yeah. However, right there, it was Che's misplay. He was, again, just there by himself in a zone that they knew wasn't warded in their favor at the moment because they just lost a member during a warding mission from Watch and Pure. So, still dangerous play on the map from Jinair. Definitely not where you want to be.
I would say so. Watch is just going to go ahead and grab the small things. It looks like, oh, can he grab red? I don't know.
He's waiting for Smite.
He's got the Smite. Yep, there we go. Now he has the health to do it. Probably.
Yeah,
he should, yep. He likes to live dangerously.
Yeah, just waiting for his smite to come back up. It had a couple more seconds. And when you smite that Bramble back, you get the health back, even if you have just... You don't have a Ranger's Trailblazer, so...
Yep.
It's nice.
Get that health right back. Smiting the Bramble back. Good old Bramble back.
Chaser actually going for Trailblazer this game. And are they going to go... Just throwing a hook out there, an exploratory hook.
Well, there was a ward, so Pure was able to avoid that fairly easily.
I think Jay should just say screw it and flash play these guys. And then...
Hell yeah.
Lantern the Evelyn in and just try and make a play.
Wow, that sounds like something I would say right there.
No, I think there's opportunities. But the way Jin Air is warding is preventing them from actually playing aggressively. Look at where these pinks are. They just want to play a very conservative early game. They're not too big on making the plays right now, and without more wards in the bottom side and without knowing where Watch is, of course they're going to be reluctant to take any kind of risk, but they're not actually setting themselves up in a way to take risks either.
Yeah, I take back what I said about Jin Air's warding early on. It's still looking pretty bad in this game.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Yeah. I don't know. It's odd. It's odd to see it fall off this much, you know? It's like Jin Air's just like, all right, we're just going to kind of get behind early on, and then when it gets super late game where nobody has any wards, then we're going to find our picks. We're going to find our team fits.
Well, they need to make a play soon. Hopefully, for Jin Air, what would be ideal for them is they try and get the Infinity Edge to balance out the Trinity Force from Corki, and then try and make a play at the Dragon with the Equalizer. Especially since Duke has delayed his Righteous Glory by building a Cowl for the laning phase. Not sure what Chaser was even doing up there. Chaser is not having the best series tonight. Chaser just was waiting there, but there was no chance really that Watch would be up there to gank when Rumble was that close to the turret. And ganking for a Rumble with Evelyn, I mean, there's just no crowd control there, really.
You've got 2 slows, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's not... Probably not going to kill a Maokai with a Cowl through his ultimate.
Not likely. Oh, Pure likely to die here, though. Has a flashback into the wall. There's a Shockwave bringing in OQ as well, too. They try to escape. Pilot flashes over the wall to get away from that one, or actually just runs up there. Teleport comes down, and there's the Lantern. They bring him in. A lot of damage from Trace. Drops the Equalizer. Doesn't catch anybody. Flash Harpoon to slow down Goon. Can they get him? A lot of damage coming in. They don't catch him with the slow, though. They get the flash, though. And wow, they're still chasing, but Goon finally gets away. A minute before Dragon comes up, though. So Jin Air has a chance to ward. They have a chance to push up this mid lane. They might lose their top lane for it, though. Yeah,
Duke canceled his TP over the course of that engagement. Now, Goon can still clear out this wave. He's got Watch there to turn around any gank. So how much can Najin take? Because if they get a turret off of this, that one death is going to be very beneficial for Najin. Like, this actually was an advantage for Najin in the end because Jin Air couldn't take enough.
So what happens if Jin Air is able to get the Dragon and tie things up? Does that make it worth it?
If they got enough wards down, but they're not going to get the Scuttle Crab, and everyone's going to be back up for Najin. Duke also, since no one has TP, Trace is going to have to stay in the top side. I'm not even sure that Jin Air is going to be able to contest this because Duke's just going to walk straight down to the Dragon more than likely.
They've got wards, but like you said, I mean, Najin's going to be back there in time.
I mean, Pure should not have been there either.
Yeah.
They had enough wards down on that side. Pure walking in alone.
OQ nearly got caught out there as well, too. Crucially, that kill went on to GBM, so he'll be able to get a nice little boost in gold that way. Already has his Athenes done and another needlessly large rod besides that. Looks like he's just going for a lot of damage early on.
Najin could have already started this Dragon.
Well, it gives Jin Air a chance. But the vision for Najin, as it has been all series long, is really good right now.
So Najin's waiting on the depth charge, and Jin Air's waiting on 2 of their ultimates from Eve and Thresh.
Yeah.
Hence the delay, but Najin had a few seconds to go ahead and start this without a whole lot of harassment. Still just going to play it defensively. Watch actually gets poked a lot.
It still kind of remains to be seen if, as the game goes on, Watch is going to be able to make plays on this Lee Sin I think that could be a real advantage for Jin Air in the later stages of the game. Watch can't quite handle it, can't quite make the plays. He's not really going to be the greatest front line. Oh,
here we go.
Ultimate activated, Sivir coming in, and there's the equalizer. They get a lot of slows. Ultimate used on Goong as well, too. Che gets caught out, a lot of damage, and here comes Duke in the back line. Ultimate onto Chaser as well. Jin Air doing a lot of damage. Trace roasting everybody, and GBM finds a chance to do some as well. There's a kill for him, and Jin Air probably can't take a dragon off of this, but at least they go even for kills in the team fight.
And they can take a mid lane turret. So Jin Air still is able to stick around and push this wave forward. Nope. Actually, Goong is just going to come back. He's very, very low.
Yeah, but with no real playmaking opportunity for GBM, he's perfectly safe to clear this wave.
Now, Jin Air really forced that fight.
Yeah.
They didn't have any kind of flank with Evelynn. So they tried to just run at them, which made this pretty not ideal, actually, because the equalizer, not doing a whole lot. The Evelynn ult also kind of whiffs, and everybody gets caught inside Victor's gravity field because
Great
they walk
shockwave.
into a choke. The only thing that's keeping Jin Air in this game is GBM's ults. I mean, they have been great so far this game, but the general engaged decision-making for Jin Air this series has been poor.
Yeah. So far, the question if GBM's Orianna is still good is a resounding yes.
Yeah, impressive. You should play it more often.
Guess so.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Jin Air's planning for these team fights.
Oh, they lose their bottom turret. Wow. Yeah. They're just not getting a whole lot.
Well, at least they got the dragon.
That is something.
Goong stuck around with a flashing red health bar just to clear the wave and make sure the mid turret wasn't taken, which gave Jin Air enough priority just to get onto the objective in the river. And they traded for a tower, which, you know, as we get past the 20-minute mark, probably will be worthwhile.
Yeah, true enough. And a little bit of damage onto the tier 2 and bottom as well. And more, great warding from Najin, allowing OQ to put some pressure on here. Yeah, Jin Air still with a lot of work to do positionally in this game. They don't have a lot of map control right now.
It's just weird to see Jin Air playing their compositions so poorly, which is Jin Air has a specific style of play with their kiting, and it's like they're trying to play their kite comps as heavy engage comps, and it's just been met with such limited amounts of success in this series.
Well, we'll just have to continue hoping GBM makes the plays. But right now, Najin is making all the wards, and that's making it very easy to pull a little bit of a siege on this tier 2.
Possible gank coming in top.
Maybe. No, doesn't look like Jin Air finds anything there.
Well, Chaser's just here to counter-engage in case they get collapsed on. There's no reason why he can't help take this top turret down while there's nothing happening on the other side of the map.
True enough. And Duke just going to take the blue buff, it looks like. But will he be able to get back in time to, well, I guess he's going to give it over GBM, of course, but looks like he'll be able to save his turret, too. Yeah, Jin Air not able to push it far enough ahead. They just don't have vision. They can't go that far up, I suppose.
Not safely, and that's taking up a lot of Chaser's time.
Yeah.
The lack of wards is actually making it so that Chaser has fewer things that he can do on the map because he has to walk top to just help back up Rumble as Trace extends really far down the lane.
It's been a bizarre series for Jin Air.
Yeah, it's so different than the last time they played because Chaser just absolutely crushed Najin in that series, and he just hasn't been playing very well tonight.
Well, it seems like we're not seeing him be as aggressive as he usually is in terms of getting wards in terms of like making plays, shutting down Watch.
There have been hardly any deep wards for Jin Air in 3 games now. That is not a good sign.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. Yeah, it's just really weird because I mean, how do you go from really good vision to just suddenly forgetting to ward? Like, how does that happen?
And GBM's still doing his GBM thing, which is building that warding totem in the mid lane.
Yep.
And upgrading it very early on.
Well, he's been warding. It's just seems like Chaser hasn't been able, like you said, get in the enemy jungle and put down the deep wards.
Yeah, but how does Najin have more wards on the map when they are actually down a upgraded warding trinket? This is strange.
Oh, looks like Jin is going to take the top turret, at least. And that may be a signal to try to take the tier 2. And there's the equalizer. Yeah, Trace knows, so he's going to make sure that doesn't happen.
Trace has been playing the map so well this game. Nice job by Najin, though, to zone out GBM on the tower.
Yeah,
threaten the kick, and there's no equalizer. So good rotation by Najin. Can't take the bottom turret, but you can be aggressive and force GBM off to take the mid.
Dragon up in a minute 20 now. One dragon apiece. It's really all about the turret so far in terms of the little lead that Najin has, along with those wards. There we go, upgraded sweeping lens now for Chaser, so they can start to clear out some of the wards in the enemy, or in their own jungle, I should say. Probably.
Watch has an Aegis now. That'll be very important to the next team fight, and GBM has no mana. He has to recall before this fight, but Jin is going to have to be overextended without that turret in the mid lane, so Najin should have an advantage going into this third dragon.
It just doesn't look like Jin is going to be able to get all the wards out of their own jungle, too, so Najin's going to be able to very comfortably position themselves when the dragon comes up.
Yeah, they're starting to clear them out, and they have that wolf spirit just in case they Najin tries to get any more deep wards in.
I guess. Still, though, I mean, you can see Najin kind of just sitting there, watching Jin come through the jungle. And GBM will get the blue buff.
He has his death cap now, so he is at a good point to fight.
That is true.
Or he starts to get very scary once she gets her Void Staff.
Abyssal Scepter and Aegis, though, on Najin, so how much is that really going to do? I mean, it does a lot to Pure, but how much is it going to do in a team fight?
Yeah, that is a bit problematic, and that's why he really needs that Void Staff. So, Jin looking at this dragon now. They have the pink wards, but Chaser's not even trying to go for a flank here. He's not trying to wrap around the pit. To be fair, Najin does have really good pink wards to prevent an engage from the side or from the rear.
Yep. Well, recalls for both top laners getting ready to teleport into this fight if they need to. And here comes GBM.
They know where he is.
Yeah.
So they're going to take the Scuttler, and are they actually just going to start this? Both top laners having the time just to walk.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Najin starting that dragon. It's on Jin to stop this from happening, and there's Scene coming in. Here we go. Equalizer goes down right at the mouth of the Baron or Dragon Pit. They catch Pure immediately. Dragon still might be taken, but Duke forced to flash. Now they're going to turn the dragon. Do they get it? Chaser comes in, smites away the dragon, and now Najin on the run. Flash over the wall from Trace. Shockwave still hasn't been used. There it is, bringing OQ in, and Watch still in, but no follow-up from Jin though.
Well, they forced the heal from OQ.
I guess so. They got the dragon, too.
They got the dragon on the steal. Pretty split call there from Najin as to where and how they were going to go, but Trace opened that up with a very nice equalizer.
Yeah, and now it looks like Najin's going to be able to take the mid lane tier 1 as well, too. So, or Jin rather. So Jin is still kind of living and dying by their team fighting in this series.
Yeah, and that time it was better. They actually had the good engage onto Pure right there. They managed to take him out right before that fight started, and then Najin couldn't decide how they were going to engage. They chased out Duke from the team fight, isolated him so that he couldn't get onto the back line while his front line was still there.
And this is the first time that Jin has been ahead in Dragons all series, too.
Yeah, this is much better early Dragon control from Jin. They have picked it up. At least they're willing to fight now for the Dragons, and they have a bit more engaged this time with the Evelynn Rumble combo.
Yeah, Chase seems to be performing pretty well on this thresh as well. Pilot, just being the Scuttle Crab.
That's what you got to do sometimes.
Yep. Sometimes you're Vayne making the plays, and sometimes you're the Scuttle Crab.
AD carries hate being the Scuttle Crab.
Scuttle Crabs hate him. Find these 10 easy secrets to take out the Scuttle Crab.
To, you mean, make your team really fast and give vision?
That's right. Jin needs it. They still don't get a lot of deep wards after that dragon, too. Warding up Baron, which, you know, I suppose should be the priority right now. Uh-oh, Duke gets flayed in. They're going to bring people in with the Lantern as well. Duke knocking people away with the Arcane Smash, still on the run. Pure can't really help here. Nice death sentence, and it is a death sentence for Duke as they finally take him down. GBM with another kill there.
And they prepped the wave well, so the wave is coming in. Jin finally starting to ward better, gets that Baron control, and then is able to make the pick. They have the equalizer just to clear out the mid wave.
It's not going to be enough. Oh, it is going to be enough. Okay.
Yes, it is. They don't have a tank there to actually face tank the turret against the Rumble if necessary, so Najin just has to back off. They could get caught right here.
I was going to say, Najin might be getting caught in a bit of a hard place here. Goong on the run, turns around, lays on that gravity field, but Chaser uses the ult to slow down Goong. Ult onto Shay as well, but they're going to turn around. Jin backing away, GBM forced to flash over the wall, but it looks like they've caught Pure. Chaser with another kill there. And now OQ trying to follow, but he's got to turn around. A lot of damage onto Trace, but looks like Jin is going to get out of this one.
Yeah, they have the Command Protect and the Dissonance just to get that little bit of extra speed up. So
they've also got the people to protect that Tier 2 turret in mid as well.
Yes, they have very good wave clear this game. So that threat onto the Tier 2 has ended, but Jin actually translating the pick into something. Now Duke has to go make sure his Tier 1 doesn't die in the bottom lane.
Probably a good idea. Wow, so Jin starting to come together a little bit. Enough anyway to get a bit of a lead. Funny thing is, like, it's about a 2,000 gold lead, and this is still kind of one of the bigger leads we've seen in this series. It's been very close.
It has been. I mean, the last game ended with, what, 1,000 gold advantage or so?
Yeah.
For Jin, so extremely back and forth. GBM really turning in a pretty solid performance on this Orianna, as we've come to expect from him.
Yep. 3-0 and 2 so far. Has that Void Staff, has the Seeker's Arm Guard even. And in very good shape so far.
So Jin now they have a chance here to just bait the Baron and start really forcing things. So they should take this. They have control over the side waves right now.
They've got some deep wards too in Najin's jungle as well, so they can put some pressure onto it. They don't really need this next dragon too. The Baron is a much more juicy target for Jin at the moment. They might just be dragon crazy this game. They want all the dragons.
They've got dragon crazy after not having any in the last, or not having that many, I should say, in the last couple.
Yeah, they got a couple. Ended up with 3 in the last game. Only 2 in the first, though.
Yeah, they managed to stall out that 5th dragon stack, made sure that Najin never got it.
Yeah. 3 times, actually. It's pretty impressive. Dragon up in 20 seconds about now. Wards in favor of Najin in a big way, but you got to wonder, if they see Najin going for this dragon, do they just immediately run up to Baron?
No, they're just going to go for the dragon. You know, they have the wave pushed up. They force Duke into the top side right now while they have 5, so you can at least get the teleport here if you're Jin and you start this dragon immediately.
And they've got the Scuttle Crab as well, too.
Yep, and there are no good, well, there's one good ward on the side there for, I mean, they could just, well, Duke's already here, so he managed to clear out that wave in time.
Yeah. All right, yeah, ping's going down from Jin in that top lane. They know that lane is going to keep pushing in their favor. Should anyway. Yep, it will.
Najin can't take this with the Scuttlecraft there. Chaser's going to try and get a flank. Now, they need to bait Najin to try and move forward into this choke point and see if they can bait them into placing a ward. Oh, Chaser gets seen. Oh, he has to be careful.
Yeah, Duke's going to engage on him. Here comes OQ as well. The ball comes in. Command protect. Chaser chasing. Couldn't get to OQ in time for a good shockwave, but Jin Air might have an
preemptive Sivir ult.
Yeah.
Totally unnecessary.
Oh, and now Pilot's going to get jumped on by Duke as well. Manages to spell shield a twisted advance, but takes a lot of damage from Goong in the meantime.
Pilot Sivir is really underwhelming. You can't make that kind of mistake. Now, they're going to try and get up over into the Baron side to see maybe what they can do up there.
Dragon's gotten taken too fast by Najin, though. They can't, go for the Baron.
They might have been able to set up a bait there if they had cleared out the vision. Now, there's a huge minion wave in topside, and it is doing work. And one thing Jin Air has been very successful at this series is setting up side wave pushes.
That's true.
They've taken like 3 or 4 tier 2s now with minion waves.
When they see OQ in bottom lane, can they just start this Baron?
Well, OQ's not going to be going to bottom lane right now.
Oh, so. I mean in top lane rather to...
No.
I suppose it's close enough.
No, too close.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to get poked out by the Victor, and Victor is a very nice champion just to drop a Chaos Storm in and win yourself a little dragon or Baron fight.
Why not? Well, Jin Air just working on pushing up those side lanes again. GBM has some decent gold to go back and spend at this point. Getting ever closer to that Zhonya's. Gonna have enough to get the needlessly large rod and sell his Doran's ring. Ha ha ha, I'm just kidding. He's never gonna sell his ring. He's gonna wait till he has a full Zhonya's.
No, he should sell it for a pink ward.
That's even more ridiculous. What are you talking about?
He's got how dare I? Trinket. How dare I suggest that carries should buy wards, Doa?
Silly. You call yourself an analyst. Oh, Chaser gets seen again. Still gonna do a little bit of damage with the good old spikes of hate. If you think about it, what really happens with hate spikes, if you get hit by that once, you should just be kind of like down for the count. I don't think you're going to survive.
Tears up your feet. Uh-oh.
Oh, Sivir ult activated. They're going to run through the gravity shield. There's a nice equalizer, though. Have they slowed down people enough? Jin Air looking a bit undecided about where to go here.
Yeah, they did get a lot of damage down there, and they used a lot of ults to do that.
Yeah, they did. They kind of split and then kind of milled around. They're like, who do we want to go for? And by then it was too late. Getting some wards in at least.
And they forced Duke's teleport. That's actually a major win.
Yeah, it does help. Now moving over to the mid lane for a bit of siege, but there's not much siege to speak of with this Jin Air team, not with a Sivir.
Well, getting Duke's teleport out is actually huge because in this series, Jin Air has successfully manipulated the side waves in ways that they get objectives off of it. And when Duke doesn't have the TP, Najin really doesn't play well around getting those minion waves in a good position. So that actually is going to buy them about 5 minutes of time where they can take out these bottom turrets with minion waves. And they can still commit. Uh-oh, GBM gets caught.
Yeah, he does. Gets out the lantern, though. Twist advance in onto Chaser, and he almost gets taken out. Meanwhile, Descendants onto OQ. Shockwave only pulls in Duke. They barely missed OQ.
And Trace's equalizer was 2 seconds away from being up. Now, he could drop it, but now they lost that TP advantage that they had.
Yeah. Really close. Man, OQ is just on the edge of that Shockwave. And
yeah, OQ got up way too far. He actually got a handful of auto attacks from Pilot.
Yeah. If he had gotten caught, he would have been in big trouble. Well, not a lot of gold to be spent on the Jin Air side of things at the moment. Trace, he should have enough for his Zhonya's very soon.
Yeah, that's going to be a big buy.
Yeah, only about 200 gold away, I think.
400 should be 450. 450.
He's got it. Yep. Well, 2 Zhonya's on the side of Jin Air now. That's a good way to survive Victor damage if you get yourself in a good position.
A good way to not get kicked by Watch.
Yes.
Especially if you are GBM and the most vulnerable person to eating a Lee Sin kick because you don't have a spell shield like Sivir does.
It's very true.
Just Sivir is a champion. Seems to be everything that Pilot isn't. I mean, you have to be so willing to just run up in your opponent's face and play in the front line as Sivir. And Pilot's such a cautious positional carry that he just hasn't been able to translate that into success. However, what has been successful is Trace setting up yet another slow push
and
in the bottom side.
Gets him a tier 1 turret. So just like you said,
Trace is playing so well this game around minion waves and minion wave control that his laning phase was so good, not giving the enemy any kind of chance at all to get a kill on him in lane. And then he's been just masterfully orchestrating these slow pushes that Najin just can't respond to.
It allows
Look at this wave.
Jin Air
it's
to
huge.
put a lot of pressure on Baron, too.
Yeah, especially right now. They've got the Scuttle Crab.
But they're going for it. They see the
they're not
recall
really
from
going to do this. They're going to back off, but...
Well, I don't know. That Baron's going down really fast. Jay puts down the box. They're going for it. They're going to get it. And now they're going to turn. They grab Pure. Pure getting away with his own dredge line. Watch on the run already. They're just going to chase him. Righteous Glory gets the slow there. Now the ult from Chaser comes in. An easy pick. And now they can just turn around. They don't even need to fight this anymore. Just take the blue buff and move off.
This was some very good shot calling from Jin Air. I thought they couldn't do that or that they were just going to turn off and let that minion wave kill the tier 2. But look at the timing. They build up this minion wave. It starts shoving in. They get nearly 2 turrets, maybe 2, depending on how these minions actually stack up here in the bottom side. And they get a Baron based on Goong's recall.
Wow. Najin, meanwhile, they respond with a dragon, so that will be their second of the game. But here comes Najin.
1 minion wave, 2 towers. Excellent side wave control.
Wow, yeah. Wow. That 1 wave, without any additional damage from Jin Air, takes down 2 towers.
And the decisive shot calling, too, has really stepped up from Jin Air this game. They saw when they had that timing, and they just immediately went for the Baron.
Yeah, and again, we've got a 6,000 gold lead right now. I think that's the biggest lead we've had in a game so far tonight.
Yeah, it's been a very close series. So Pilot just going to go clean up the jungle right now.
Or is he? Suspense.
I think he was scared because he didn't have wards.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, Najin pushing up the mid lane again a little bit.
So now they have a chance to siege, but Jin Air's siege is not awesome. It's like GBM going for a Luden's Echo as his final item in this game.
He sold the Doran's ring. Hooray! Shouted from the rooftops.
But he didn't buy a pink board.
Hooray! Oh.
Oh.
I mean, not hooray.
So what is Jin Air doing in the enemy jungle right now? They need to take out that tier 2 before they seriously commit to an inhibitor push. They may try and split push with this Evelynn, just a little bit. But you only needed 1 person in that top side, and the rest of them should be pushing in mid lane. That's a little weird.
Everybody grouping mid now.
Now Trace has to go bottom at some point here. Jin Air's on a clock to actually take out this turret.
Well, they're moving in. Doing a little bit of damage there. But, yep, the siege from Sivir, not the best. Wow, look at that, though. Wards in the enemy jungle. Huh.
I didn't know you could put wards there.
Yeah. We haven't seen it all series from Jin Air until right now. Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they're going to send Trace to deal with that wave in bottom lane. They had to do something.
Still, they really haven't done very much with this Baron buff, but that is partially a compositional issue, and the good wave clear from Najin on the entry with the line wave clear from Victor is difficult to handle.
I really don't think that Jin Air is too concerned about making large strides forward with this Baron buff. I think they're just happy to keep it away from Najin.
Well, they can also just continually fight and take more and more advantages right now, extend that gold lead.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately for them, they're not really on the cusp of that Dragon number 5. Got a long way to go in that regard. It'd take over and we'd be getting to like the hour-long point by the time they actually got a 5th Dragon.
Yep. Almost got their last game. Another large rod picked up by Trace. He's going to go for that
Death Cap.
Death Cap, yep. For some reason, I wanted to say Void Staff. I think I was looking at his inventory and I saw the Void Staff, so my brain said, "You want to say Void Staff right now?" I'm like, "No, brain, no," but it came out anyway. Oh well. Thanks, brain.
Always tricking you.
I know.
Doing what you don't want it to do.
I should just leave it at home.
You should just meditate more.
Turn it off. Meditate more?
Yeah. That's how you turn it off, yeah.
What type of music should I put on when I meditate?
Zero.
Oh. You don't meditate with music?
No, that would be distracting.
Oh. Doesn't help you get in the zone?
No. No, it does not.
If you have a very active imagination, though, it can give you something to focus on, which narrows...
But the point of meditation is not to imagine things.
I know, right? But if I just sit there with my eyes closed, I'm going to start imagining things.
Well, that's how you train meditation. You focus on not having thought.
Well, we've both got a long way to go before we're Dulcim from Street Fighter.
Some of us longer than others, it seems.
Hey, I can stretch up my arms and say, yoga. I'm almost like Dulcim already. Oh, Chaser steals the big wolf. And look at this. Just like we saw last game, Dragon and Baron coming up at almost the same time again.
Yeah, Baron up enough in the future, though, or in advance, that they actually are going to be able to pretty easily get this Baron buff, or at least force the face check. Finally, Jin Air has figured out how to lock down vision control around the objective.
They figured out that all it takes is wards.
Buying them, or maybe using the 2 sight stones and the 2 warding totems that you already have.
It's the trouble. It's the tricky part, the balance between buying and using wards. The flank is real. Chaser comes in, big 4-man. Wow, that equalizer goes down as well too. Chaser gets very low to Goong though. And have they poked people out enough to do Baron? I don't know. That looked really good coming in, but then didn't really do as much. If they would have had a good shockwave,
there wasn't enough follow-up. Pilot and GBM were unable to actually put damage down there. So Chaser and Trace did work, but no one else really in range to get the necessary damage down.
I thought they were going to be close enough, but I guess not.
And now they're in a situation where they don't have ults.
And they really need to stop Najin from taking a 4th dragon, too.
Yeah, that would be pretty high on the old priority list. Fortunately, Agony's Embrace will be up pretty much by the time this dragon is, or shortly thereafter, so low cooldown on that ultimate.
True enough. And they may just grab the dragon anyway. No, they're going to go back to mid. Equalizer getting closer to being up as well, too, and they still do have Shockwave, which is a pretty big deal, because we've seen what GBM's been able to do with it this game. All right, they're just going to go after the dragon. Yeah,
plenty of time before the Baron starts. We saw Najin did this in 8 seconds before the Baron began last game. Now Chaser just going to sprint out. 1 second. Now Baron is live. They have a ward on there, so they're going to know that Najin's not doing it. And they're just going to push mid lane. I mean, screw it at this point.
Why not? Oh, Chaser throws a ward down. Immediately, he knows they use a sweeping lens because it immediately didn't work for a couple seconds.
What is Najin doing?
They are trying to bait.
I mean, Trace is saying they get a ward too. I mean...
Oh, they're going to lose the turret, I guess.
Jin Air should just keep pushing. I mean, screw this. They can just take an inhibitor. Najin has to go for it at this point.
And Jin Air's going to try to catch them. All the ults up now. Oh, this could be Gravity Field used very early. There's a pretty good equalizer locking them into the pit. Chaser harassing. There's a nice Agony's Embrace. He goes in. Oh, he steals Baron as well, too. And now GBM comes into the big shockwave to set up some kills. They do lose Trace, but they're going to take Duke immediately afterwards.
GBM still going. They have a chance to make plays here. OQ may be full HP, but Goong is low.
Oh,
here comes Chaser from around the side. They're boxing him in.
Yep, Goong very low health. Here comes Pilot, and that's the big threat. Gravity Field used. Oh, he got him with the return on the Boomerang Blade. Double kill as he takes out Lee Sin as well. Watch going down there. Only OQ remaining, and there's a Flash Blade. That does a ton of damage to OQ, actually. They get the flash from him as well, too. Chaser running up very, very fast. It's a great OQ chase 2015. Meanwhile, there's a big wave in top lane, and they will turn for the inhibitor. I think that's a smart decision.
Jin Air has just displayed significantly better late-game decision-making than Najin, and that's what's going to earn them the win here. These death timers are so long, and they have the Baron buff. Should be easy.
OQ can't save them. There goes turret number 1 in front of the Nexus. Nexus turret number 2 goes down as well. and there goes the Nexus. So great late game play from Jin Air, and they will take this series 2-1. Wow, what a crazy series.
And high fives from Sweet in the booth. Coaches coming in.
Yeah.
Very questionable, I will say, early game decision making and warding from Jin Air, but they pulled it together late game in games 2 and 3 and did make some extremely good calls. I mean, right there, they had the vision to just let them know exactly what was going on, and they forced Najin into a very poor decision where basically Najin stuck around that Baron so long looking for the miracle pick that their only choice was trade inhibitor, or lose an inhibitor, or they had to start that Baron.
Yeah.
And then it was just easy to get turned around on by Jin Air.
Well, Jin Air continues to be,